This was last year, a gingerbread bag holder, but I have to do a snowman. So it's the same pattern, okay? We're just doing a snowman. So you're going to need puffy paint, markers, whatever to do the face. That's up to you. You could do vinyl on it before you sew it. Like I said, that's totally up to you how you do your face. These are the updated measurements on the pattern, so I'm going to re-upload this one, okay? So you'll get this, and then you'll get your patterns, I think, are like this or something like that. It's a PDF printable on my Facebook group, and there's something about my Facebook group you should know. I have stipulations on there, so if you, it's automatic, so if you have been rejected, that is not my fault. That is, I'm just going to say it, basically your fault. There's stipulations, there's questions you should answer. There are a lot of scammers and hackers, and I take all precaution I can to keep them off of my page and out of my life. So, I have that very sensitive, so to speak. So if you don't do the criteria that it asks you, or you don't have, there's another stipulation about your profile, then that's not my fault. Facebook will automatically reject you because I have them settings set, and I do apologize for that. But like I said, there are hackers, and I don't even want to be a part of that in my life. So, yeah. So anyways, I have this white fabric. Now, you can use fleece. You can use whatever you want. I have done these in flannel, and flannel works good. But if you're going to use markers or any paint like that, puffy paint will work fine. But if you're going to use markers or acrylic paints or something like that, the smoother your fabric, the better off you'll be. So you're going to need 2 body parts. So I'm going to take my patterns, and you need 4 arms. So I'm going to cut 2 here, and then I'll fold over and cut 2 more. But I'm going to cut my patterns out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these to the machine after I pin them, and I'm going to sew all the way around these, okay? But I am going to leave this side right here open for turning, and I'm going to sew across the rest of it. These, I'm just going to leave this open. I'm just going to leave the arm open because we're going to do something with that anyway. So I'm just going to leave this open. So for me to know I'm going to leave that open, I'm going to take my Frixion pin, and I'm going to put my dashes right here, and I know to leave that side open. All I'm going to do is take my needle, and I'm going to run this along my edge, y'all know, like I always do, and then my needle will be all the way to the right. And that's how I'm going to sew both of these, with my needle all the way to the right along the edge of the foot. Okay, y'all, make sure you clip your uglies off because you don't want them scraggling around. And as you've seen, I back stitched at every start and stop here. because you don't want your seams to come open either. So on the hands, you do need to clip around your circle part, okay, on each hand. And on this, you need to go around the head just a few, but you definitely got to clip these neck pieces to get them to turn properly, okay? So I'm going to go around and I'm going to clip my shoulders here and around the top of my head and around here. Y'all don't need to hear all that clicking. I'm sure you don't appreciate it. I wouldn't. So I try to treat you with the same courtesy that I would like. So anyway, let me trim my pieces or snip my pieces or whatever I need to do to these pieces, and I'll be right back. So I don't know if you've ever seen me do it before, but this is a tip. These are easier to turn when you... Oh, I'm going to snip my corners too. Not that it matters, just not on this. It's just I always do, so it's a habit. So that's what I did. But the easiest way in any of these is take your thumb, run your thumb up in there, push one of your fingers, whichever one you're comfortable with pushing, and pull that over top and then poke it through and then just pull. I find that that's the easiest way to turn stuff is when I can get a little piece of the fabric out of there, okay? If I'm not using a turning tool. I didn't use a turning tool for this. I didn't feel the need. My finger was my turning tool. You know what I'm saying? If I don't got to drag nothing out, I ain't gonna. So now I am going to take my turning tool and I'm going to poke out my corners here and all my seams. Now once you get this, I'm going to go over to the iron and I'm going to pull this tight, okay? Pull this seam tight. Or you can just roll it. You don't have to iron it. Now we need to stuff these, okay? Okay, so stuff your hands when you get them flipped inside out, or right side out. I always do that. When you get them the right way, stuff them halfway. Then sew across right here, and just to hold that stuffing in. This, we don't need stuffed. I mean, you can, but it don't make sense to do so. And then get this stuff firm. Now, I like mine as hard as I can get it because, you know, I don't want my... I don't know. I always think my bag's going to fall off. I don't know. But anyway, stuff it pretty firm. And I did it, and I sewed a little off, and I got a dent in her head. Got it. But anyway, I'm gonna cover it up, okay? So whip stitch your side after you get it stuffed real good, okay? Y'all, I'm having a crazy day. I'm telling y'all, I'm having a crazy day. So then I want to figure out. You can look at the pattern, okay? This one, I don't even know why I did that. I think it's ugly now. It's funny how you change, you know, from time to time. But anyway, the bag itself and the arms, I usually do one pattern, and then I do the apron, the other pattern. And I'm going to make a hat to go on the snowman's head. So I'm going to use this. That's, you know, probably, you know, for the apron. I mean, you'll see. So I'm going to take this one, and since this is going to be the dress, I have to do the dress and the sleeves. Okay, so I'm going to undo this, and I got the measurements right here. Now, last time, like I said, I did it in half, and it got y'all all messed up. Do it in half. I still need a 19 high, okay? So I'm going to fold it in half because it's just easier for me to cut it that way. And my first cut is going to be the 19 long. Alright. Ugh. I need a new blade again. I go through blades like crazy. Probably because I buy cheap ones. So the other piece I need for the sleeve, okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut it, and then I'll do the width. So it's got to be, I need 2 of them. I need 2 pieces that are for the sleeves 8 high. So sorry. I'm just going to take this, okay, and I'm going to go down to the 32. And now I'm going to take this and I am simply going to get it straight. It looks like it's on this green line, so I'm going to cut down this green line right here. Okay, so I'm going to get my ruler and I'm going to cut right down that green line. Now you can use your scissors for this, but I got this here, so I'm just going to do it. Now this has my selvage edge, but that don't matter. It's not going to be washed. I mean, per se, you can wash them, but that's not going to be seen. So I'm going to leave this like this. Okay, this is going to be my bag holder. All right, I had to do something. I'm going to cut my sleeves. I'm going to leave it folded. Okay, leave it folded and put it down here where it belongs. I need 2 sleeves, so it says I'm going to cut them at 15. So I'm going to take and I'm going to cut these at 15. These don't have to be too awful perfect, but you know. So there's my 2 15 pieces. Then all I gotta do is take this piece right here, take my handy dandy scissors, and I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna make myself 2 pieces. Just by cutting my fold here. Now I have my 2 pieces. So you're gonna take one, you're gonna fold it over. Now I like a frayed edge. I don't even know if I can fray this stuff. Let me see if I can rip one. Y'all, when I said let me see if I can rip one, I replayed that back in my head and I laughed so hard. Oh God, that took me a minute to get back to y'all. I'm so not right. I'm so not right. But anyway, you're gonna take this and you're going to sew all these, fold them in half and sew them. Okay? Right down this right here. Just sew all your edges shut. Make sure you fold this long ways. Okay? And then sew all your seams, okay? Okay, now I got them sewn. Now, I am going to, since these, I can't rip them, I am going to put a little hem in there. Just flip this under like this right here on both sleeves. Now you don't have to worry about the top one. You just have to do the bottom where you're gonna, you know, put that in. It's easier to do it before you stick the hand in. So just fold it under and then take this one and where you're going to insert your elastic, I am going to serge my end first. Okay, you don't have to do that, but I'm going to serge my end because when you're pulling bags in and out of there, they go in from the bottom and I don't want strings starting to come out, so I'm going to serge it. You can zigzag this edge and then you're going to turn it under and sew it. And you need about however much your elastic is. I'll just tell you that. Let me get my elastic and I'll show you. So I have a little scrap piece and this is really stretchy. And when you put it in fabric, you know, it gets stretchy. So even with me putting a little stitch in here, you know, I've got a pretty good sized piece that I can put my bags in. So I don't really want a huge one so your bags fall out. So my little piece of elastic is about 8.5 inches long. And it is, I think, the 1/2 inch. Yeah, right at 1/2 inch. So what I would do is when I get my thing in there, I would go up and I would just know how much to pull this up to put my elastic in. I'll show you again when I get ready to do that part. But I'm going to I'm going to serge all these. I'm not going to do this one. I'm just going to serge it and show you how I do it. And then I'm going to do these. Okay, so I've got my serge on there. Okay, and what I'm going to do is on this line of my serging right here, that's where I'm going to stitch. So I want my elastic within that stitch amount, and I lost it. No, I didn't. Here it is. So if I put it in, you want it snug, but you don't want it so snug that you can't pull your elastic through. So I measure my elastic and I give me a little gap at the bottom, okay? So I know right here is where my elastic is how I need to fold it. So I will take this and I'm gonna pin it. This is a pin that you can iron over. I'm going to take a piece of poster board. This is comic book board. And I'm going to take out these two pins right here for a minute. And I'm going to put this down in here. Okay. So now when I do this, I can take my pencil and I can make marks. And then I can take my ruler, wherever that went. I'll just use this one. And I'm going to go from mark to mark. Okay. Take this, go around through here, and I'll just go to my iron, and I'll iron right over the cardboard and go all the way around. Moving it, I'll iron it, iron it, move it, and it's so much better than putting pins in it. So that's just a little tip from me to you. Now I folded that under and I put my stitch right around, and there's my hem for that. And then this one, when you put your hem in there, make sure, now I like to start and stop at the crack, or crease, whatever. I always say that word. I have to start and stop at seam. It's a seam. I start and stop at the seam and leave me room to put my elastic through. Okay? But I'm not going to put my elastic through yet. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this one and put it this way. Now I'm going to take my arm. Alright, and I'm going to fold this in half here. And I'm going to take my arm and I am going to stitch it to this. Now, as you can see, I went down a little piece, okay, about 1/2 inch, and sewed my arm in my sleeve. So, now that I've done that, I can take my pieces here, and I'm going to use my dental floss for the arms. Okay, what you do is you can take this and pull it in some, just a little bit, not much, and I'm going to put a gathering stitch in here. Okay, and I'm going to draw this arm up. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to do a running stitch all the way around this. Make sure you keep this even when you're gathering, okay? Ouch. And stay out of your fingers. Now when you get this end done, you pull it tight to pucker it all up as best you can. That's going to be flat across there, so it's going to be hard to pull tight. Then squeeze real tight so it don't come undone, and tie your thread off. Now, like I said, you can use, if you do this with thread, I would recommend button thread or, you know, upholstery thread or something like that, because it's a whole lot thicker. But I just use my dental floss because it's always worked for me. I've never had a problem with it. And it sticks to itself because of the wax, and I love that fact. So do that on that arm. So your arm is in there. Then you're going to flip this inside out, or right side, whatever. So it's gonna go in like that, and that's gonna go up under there. That's what you want. You want that to look like that right there. All right. Then you're gonna take this end. Make sure you tie your threads off here. Okay. You don't want to do this and then slip out. Well, you can do it and pull it tight like that, but I don't like to do it that way. I like to tie my knots in it and then gather my stuff later. So I'm going to go from the back here, and I'm going to start under where I sewed. Okay, try to bring it up closer where you can see. Under where I'm sewing, or where I sewed this, and I'm going to just start gathering. And I'm going to do this on both sleeves. Before I pull this tight, I'm going to take a little bit of stuffing, and I'm going to fluff it up really good just by pulling them fibers apart. I want it soft. I don't want a whole lot. And I'm going to stuff this up in this arm, and that's going to help my sleeve to stay poofy. Okay? Now you don't want to put a lot in there, because you don't want this thing, it's going to be hanging. You don't want her to look like she's been working out. So then you just draw this up, and that's going to put your little sleeve on. And when I get it pulled tight, when I get it pulled tight, I'm going to hold it and I'm going to tie it off. I'm going to do the same to the other sleeve. Same thing I just did to this one, okay? So I'm going to take an acrylic paint marker, okay? But these are some options. They have these little black pom-poms, okay? Now you can glue 2 little black pom-poms right there. You can use buttons and sew them on. You can glue them on, whatever you want to do. They also have little orange pom-poms. I got these at Hobby Lobby. And you can simply use a pom-pom for the nose. I use these a lot on my sock snowman. But see, it's just cute. And then you can use those for the mouth as well. And just put the little black dots on there. Now, I will tell you, these, I bought some orange air dry Crayola clay, and it is like I don't know, like foam when it dries. But they made cute little noses, so I'm probably going to use one of these as my nose. And I'm going to judge where about I want my eyes. So I'm just going to make circles, okay? And that's all I'm going to do. You can use a Sharpie for this. I'm going to do more of an oval than a circle. So I'm going to start my circle again. And then I'm going to start doing an oval shape. And then I'm just going to draw my mouth. Sharpie. Whew, scared myself. Oh yeah, that's better. It's not bleeding. It's not bleeding. Okay, a Sharpie's your best option. And you can draw your nose on with a Sharpie as well. That's up to you. These don't gotta be hard, y'all. It is a little girl, so I'm gonna give her some eyelashes here. And some little eyebrows. Not big ones. Now let me redo this mouth here. So I'm going to take my white acrylic marker now, and I'm just going to put a dot, maybe, and a line. Okay, and then over here I'm going to do a dot and a line. And that's just going to define the eye just a little bit. Nothing major. There it goes. It takes a minute for it to come out. Alright, so there's my little eyes. And then I'm going to take, this is spun sugar. This is ink by Tim Holtz. And I'm just going to put a little color for the cheek right there. You can use blush, marker, whatever. I love these inks. They're so pretty. I need to wash that out. So there that is. And then if my glue gun's hot, I'm just going to hot glue my nose right there. And she's done. I think that I honestly want her to have a little mouth coming down like that. That's just what I prefer. So I'm just going to put some hot glue on my nose here, and it's going to string across the room. And then I'm going to put it right in the center. Now I'm going to take my arms. I already did this one. And you can glue these on when you're done, but I'd rather tack it. So my crease, my seam is right in the middle. And I've got this folded, and I'm going to take this arm, and I'm going down about, let me see. That's about 2 inches down, okay? Going about 2 inches down. I'm going to take my sleeve like this right here. This is tucked up in there. Now I'm going to go down my 2 inches. Okay. And I'm going to flip this up. Now I'm going to take my needle and thread or my floss, and I'm going to start over here, and it doesn't matter where you catch. Okay. I'm just going to start tacking my arm down. Alright, now don't catch your arm per se up here, but just start tacking this to the dress. And like I said, you can glue it, but I would rather tack it just because when you glue, the glue will come down and the arm will come down and some of the glue will show. I did that on my gingerbread and it was showing and I didn't like it after I did it. So I'm just telling you right now that, or letting you know that this is the best way to put these arms on. And see, you can't see no glue, no strings, none of that mess. And you can go over as far as you want to sewing this on, and then when you're done, just simply tie your thread off. This next step. Now my arms are on and they're dangling, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my dental floss, okay, and I'm going to pull it really long. I'm going to get a long string, and then I'm going to pull it again. I'm telling you, I want a long string. I'm going to fold it in half. And now I'm going to take this and pull it tight. And it's wax. It'll stick together. I want it to stick together. And I'm going to thread this through my long needle. I probably should have did the other end, but it's okay. So now I've got this like this. Now I'm going to tie this, and I've got 4 strands, okay? I'll have 4 strands to work with. And I'm going to tie a knot in this so it doesn't slip back through. So now I've got this piece. I'm going to fold this under because this is going to be the neck casing, okay? So let me turn it this way so my seam is back here. But I'm starting at the seam because I'm going to tie this. Now I'm going to fold this under just a little. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to go down at the bottom of this. And I'm just going to start my running stitch, okay? So I'm going to come down about the same all the way through here. But I'm stitching at the bottom, not the top. And that's because this is going to be around the neck. And I want it to look finished and look like a little ruffle up there. Because, you know, when you're in the kitchen, you're not wearing a scarf unless you're wearing one of my kitchen boas. But, you know, she ain't going to be having a scarf on. I guess you could put a scarf on her if you wanted to. But I'm going to put a little, like a bonnet cap on her. So pull this, leave your piece and go all the way around this. Okay, till you get back to this edge. Now that I have that all the way through there and I have this hanging out and I have this hanging out, I'm going to take her and stick her down in there. And I'm going to flip this over. And I've got it to the inside so I don't have no mess on the outside. And I am going to cinch this up and tie it as tight as I can. Now that's one reason why I like dental floss, because it will hold and stick there, okay? Now I'm going to tie this probably 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, just kidding. I am going to tie it a few times. I am going to tie it a few times just because I don't want mine coming out. I don't want this sucker to pop. Now, you can take your glue and go around this and glue this to it, or go under while it's not got nothing here. And you can take a bead of glue and you can simply go around this body and glue this down if you don't feel secure. And I knocked my nose off. Did y'all see that? Oh my gosh, let me fix my nose. Now when you do this, pull this and make sure you gather this and pull until your sleeves are around to the front of your little snowman here, okay? Y'all, my nose, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. That's funny. I think I got my nose worked out. I'm not sure. But now I'm going to take my elastic And I'm going to string my elastic through the bottom. There's a lot of steps in this, I know. Now I'm going to take my, see? I'm going to take this right here, and I am going to get a safety pin, and I'm going to pin that so I don't lose it down in the gather thing there. Now when you come back out, but I'm going to hold on to this one and pull it out, and then I'm going to take this one, I'm going to unhook it, I'm going to keep this in it, okay, and I'm going to pull. So I want these two pieces, and then I'm going to take these two pieces, and I'm going to stitch by hand because it's easier than putting it under the sewing machine. It really is. You can do either, whatever you want to do, but I'm just going to put a few stitches in here. It's not going to come apart if you sew it good enough. I don't recommend gluing. That will come apart. Alright, so now that that's in there, gather your stitches, and then I'm going to sew this on my machine to sew this shut, okay? And then you can leave it at this point and have your little snowman bag holder. She kind of looks like she's in an old-timey nightgown. I'm simply going to pull this, and this will get your gathers pretty much even, and there's your hole for your bags. So now I'm going to tell you, if I was doing this without showing you, I would cut all my pieces out at the same time, so that way I'd have them all out here and ready, but I didn't because I was showing you what I was going to do. I'm going to take this fabric right here, this piece, and I am going to take, this is a I'm going to cut a 10-inch. I'm going to cut a 10-inch circle, okay? I'm going to cut a 10-inch circle, and that is going to be her hat. So now I'm going to take my circle, and I'm going to leave a little rim, not a lot of rim, and I'm going to go around with a running stitch. Y'all, we're doing a lot of running stitching, ain't we? If I run this much in real life, I'd be in good shape. But I'm just going to go all the way around this and make sure that you leave it hanging out. We have to tie this like we did the dress, okay? So here's the hat, okay? I got both ends hanging out so I can tie it. And I'm going to put a little, I mean just a little wad of stuffing in this to just poof this hat out just a little. Now, it don't got to be real poofy. Just a little bit in there, because it's going to come down and cover her face if you don't have something in there. Alright, that might be too much. Let me back out my fluff, y'all. So now I'm going to put this around her head. You can tie it in front or back. It really doesn't matter. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it on. And then I'm going to take my string and I'm just going to tie a knot. Now make sure before you tie this, you have it down in the back where it needs to be, okay? Now we'll be able to lift it up a little bit. Watch me knock my nose off again. Ugh. I think what had happened was my glue was not hot enough, and I didn't let my glue gun heat up good enough to put my nose on. Okay. Fix your gathers. I'll make sure I try to get my gathers even. Now I'm going to take this back here. You can tack it, but I'm going to put a little glue here and I'm going to glue that down. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to tack it on the sides as well. But I'm going to pull this up a little bit and tack the front right here, because I don't want this coming down into the eyes at all. Just doing a little tacking. All right. Let me arrange her fluff here. Oh, it's cute. Ah. Look, ain't she cute with her little cap on? Oh my goodness. Now we gotta do the apron. So now for the apron, let me put all my needles up. Almost said noodles. Put my needles up. No, said noodles again. Okay, for the apron, I need one 12 by 18 rectangle. So I took my apron piece after I cut it, okay? I cut it, and then I folded it in here, and stitched it. And now I'm gonna take the bottom, and I'm gonna fold it up, and I'm gonna stitch across that and make me a little hem, okay? I want this finished, so that's what I'm gonna do. And then, let me see. Yeah, I want that pretty good hem. So I'm gonna go up about, I'd say, an inch. I'm gonna iron it up an inch and sew that an inch across the bottom right there. You don't have to go that high up if you don't want to. Now I've got a good long piece of floss, and I tied a big, like 4 thing knot in the bottom, okay? And I'm going to fold this down, just a piece, and then I'm gonna run a stitch across here. So now I got it run across there, and I'm gonna take my apron, and I'm gonna go across her like this, and just figure out where this needs to go. And I'm gonna start under her arm and stop under her arm. So that's why I didn't tie this off yet, because I want to adjust it to where I need it. So it'll be fine right there. So I'm just gonna take and tie it off right there, and that way I know when I glue it on, I've got what I need, okay? So I'm gonna go under her arm here. You have to hide your stitches under, okay? But you can do it from the top. You don't have to go in. I'll show you what I mean. Tie a knot in there. Make sure you have enough thread. Go under the arm. Tack it. Okay, now I'm gonna go arms up. She's got her arms up. I'm gonna go around through here, and I'm gonna gather. Now you want to go underneath of here, okay? Go underneath of here and catch, okay? And then go down a piece and catch. And this will hold this on without you having to glue it. When you get to under the arm, the other arm, just simply tie it off. Done. Now you can embellish this any way you want to. Now I'm going to put a bow on the front of her. So I have a 6 by 8 rectangle. Okay. So long ways, we're going to take this rectangle. We're going to put this in the middle, and then we're going to put this right over top of that, okay? So we have this right here. Now I'm going to find the middle, and I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue, and I'm going to tack my ends just a little, okay? So this is not flinging apart here. So I'm just putting a little dot there to hold that, all right? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Now, I'm going to find the middle. And I'm going to take... The only one I got threaded is black, but it's okay. You're not going to see it. So I'm going to take my thread, and I'm going to go in the middle here and just draw this up. Okay? And I'm going to run it around there and tie it off. And we have this floppy fabric bow. And I think it's so stinking cute. Okay, let me tie this off. So I'm going to cut this off. And I'm cutting this I'm going to glue this together. Okay. Oh, I'm not even. So what I want to do is I want to put this in here. Okay. And I'm going to tack it. You can sew this if you want to. I'm just going to tack it with glue. That's it. Just a little bit of glue so it's not coming apart and coming open. Okay. Alright, and then I'm going to pull this one up here, and I'm going to glue it just like this. Alright, so now I will take this and pinch it up like that, scrunch it under here. Right? And that's going to be my bow tails. So now at this point, I'm going to take this piece. Now I'm going to tie a knot in it. Okay? Flip it all over. And then tie my knot. Oh, how adorable. This is so cute. So I have a little glittery snowflake here, okay? I had to plug in another glue gun, and I don't know what I'm doing with that. I'm going to take a piece of this scrap fabric I got, and I'm going to cut it about 3/4 of an inch. Okay, this end, and I'm simply going to start a running stitch, and I'm going to gather this into a circle to make a makeshift little flower looking thing. Okay, so now that I got to the other side, I'm going to go around here and I'm going to pull them together, and then I'm going to pull this under a little bit and then cut it off, so that way it's not got a gap. So I'm going to go down through there, and I'm going to pull tight, and then I'm going to tie it off back here. I'm going to glue this to the side right here. Just going to put glue on the back all the way around the circle. Okay. Then I'm going to push it into her hat. And then I'm going to glue the snowflake right in the middle. Put a blob of glue on there and stick it right in the middle. Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. I'm in love with her. I forgot I needed a hanger, so I'm actually going to take the selvage edge here, and I'm going to cut a piece. Okay. Now this is just a piece about 6 inches long, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it over on here, and I'm going to sew it. This won't come undone, it won't fray, and I'm going to sew right down the middle to sew this together. Okay, or you can glue it. Now I've got my piece. I'm simply going to loop it over And I'm going to sew it to her hat here. Shoo. Y'all, look how adorable she is. Got her bags hanging out, her little apron, her big old bow. I love her little hair thing or hat thing right there I made. I love it. So cute. I hope y'all enjoyed this one. If you did, leave me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, consider doing so. That helps out my channel. And thank you so much for hanging with me and watching. Until next time, remember, you're a blessing. Goodbye.